The World Health Organization saying this week that money alone will not help poor nations combat COVID. What's happening here, and what do these poor nations need from developed economies?
Yes. So the problem is that many of these poorer countries can't afford to purchase vaccines against COVID-19. And that's one of the reasons Covax was created. That's a facility that aims to distribute vaccines equitably around the world, but also helps purchase vaccines as a group. So when high-income countries approach vaccine manufacturers to secure more shots than they'd already purchased and agreed on, what happens is it actually reduces the amounts available for COVAX and as a consequence also for developing nations, especially now that the world still faces a shortage in vaccines.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit, because just last month we had Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness, on Quicktake, and he accused wealthier nations of, quote, hoarding COVID-19 vaccines because they are buying more than they need, essentially taking bets on which vaccines will be more efficacious. What is the consequence that this has for smaller nations that can't afford to do this?
Well, the direct consequence is that they'll start vaccinating with a lag, and also means that it'll take longer for developing nations to get a widespread vaccine rollout going. Many developing countries are still waiting to give even their very first shots. And this comes, of course, it's good news, of course, but it comes as wealthier nations inoculated millions of residents already. So it basically underscores the inequities that, have been exposed in the pandemic, and increases also the risk of giving the virus opportunities to mutate. We've already seen some strains popping up here and there, and that happens if the virus can circulate for longer periods of time. So that can be a risk.
Yes, I want to hit on that, Corinne. I want to end with that because I don't think that's something a lot of people really understand. The world needs to essentially vaccinate at the same time, or else countries around the world that don't have vaccine could have new variants that could actually get past existing vaccines, potentially develop, right?
So the WHO has said that the best thing the countries should do is invest in their capacities to combat this pandemic, but also future pandemics. So basically, they're calling on all countries to work on this now and build up capacity to eventually be able to produce their own vaccines.
Bloomberg's Corinne Gretler in Zurich. Hey, Corinne, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate you joining us on this today.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quicktake now for insight in an instant.